Good afternoon and welcome to the Keyhire Show for Small Business. I'm your host and creator of Keyhire, Corey Harlock. Today we are talking about how to be considerate to candidates throughout the job application and hiring process. Now, before we get rolling today, a couple points of housekeeping. If you're listening today and you have some questions, please drop them in the comment box. We love questions. I'm challenging you. Leave a question. We would love for you to do that. And we're doing this every couple weeks. So happy to have you with us, spend your valuable time with us here today. Let's jump in. So in our resource, the four pillars of creating a winning hiring process, the considerate piece is often the piece that's left out. And what do we mean by being considerate throughout the hiring process? And what I'm referring to is having empathy or understanding that the person on the other side of this process is going through their own stuff and anxiety and trying to get time off and meet deadlines and do their job and take care of their family throughout this as well. And I want to kind of break it into three sections, really. So when we talk about being considerate, we talk about the interview process, how we're asking them to communicate with us and make time for us. The second part is through the offer and the negotiation stage, which is another key area where we can really win over someone who is in the hiring process with us. And then the final piece of this, and the piece that is overlooked almost 100% of the time, is the resignation or that transition from their company to your company. So let's kind of look at these. The first one is the interview process. And the example I use all the time is you get a resume of someone who looks great on paper. We get excited. We call them up and say, hey, I just got your resume. We'd love for you to come in. Can you come in tomorrow at 2:00 and meet with me? Person on the other end says, yeah, I think I can make that happen. They show up at 2:00. You have an interview. This was great. I think you're going to be really valuable to our team. Can you come back tomorrow and talk to my partner, or come back and talk to the leader of the department? And they say, yeah, I think maybe I can make that happen. And then they leave. That's what happens on our side. Pretty standard. Let's think about what happens on the other side of that. You've called them in the middle of the day while they're probably at work. They could have been standing beside their boss. I hate when people answer their phone and say, I can't talk right now, I'm in a meeting. Like, just let it go to voicemail. But anyway, we don't know where they are when we've called them. And then we've said, hey, can you come in and meet with us tomorrow? Now let's think about, what do they have to do to make that meeting happen? They got to get time off. They're going to have to do something that high integrity people hate doing, and that's lie to their boss and say, hey, I got a doctor's appointment. Can I get the afternoon off? I got one of my kids has an event. Now they have to use PTO. They're using their time that they put aside for their vacation to come in and meet with us. They show up the next day, and if they're dressed up, what's the joke in the office? Oh, you got a job interview. So they might even change in the car or change in the bathroom before they leave. They jump in their car and they drive to your building. They don't know where it is. They don't know where to park. They don't know where to go when they do park. They don't know who to ask for. It's pretty stressful stuff. They spend some time with, and then you say, can you do that for me again tomorrow? Do that for me again tomorrow. Not the best impression to make with a candidate, right? So how can we be considerate in the interview process? And the Keyhire process is, when we initially reach out to people, we usually do it through whatever email they've provided or text. I like to do text because it's discreet, right? So you could maybe say, hey, it's Corey over here at Keyhire. I just got your resume. It looks great. Can you give me a shout on this number when you have a minute? Much more considerate way to approach the person. Technology is big now. So we always incorporate, instead of, I'm aware how hard it is for people to get time off work, to disappear for a couple hours. So I'm always really clear with my clients, if we're going to bring them on site, let's just do it one time, because we don't want to keep asking them to kind of, got to fix my collars here. We don't want to keep asking them to take time off to do this, right? If they're going to take a half day off work, let's utilize the whole half day, and we can utilize technology for the other interviews. So we always make the first interview a video interview. Everyone can it's much easier for them to accommodate. When we bring them in, we tell them, hey, you're going to be here for 2 hours, maybe 3, depending. We give them an agenda so they know exactly who they're meeting with. They can do a little research on the individual. So we let them know if we're going to be giving them a tour, whatever. We let them know what to expect. So that's kind of being considerate in just setting up that hiring and interviewing process. That's pretty standard stuff. But the next phase is the offer and the negotiation. A lot of the mistake I don't want you to make is I don't want you to make this transactional. Sometimes people will say, oh, we like them, let's just shoot them out an offer. And I really want you as a business owner, a small business owner, to get away from these kind of two worlds. The number one is, I know it's not as much money as you're making today, but you got to trust me. Please quit saying that. Experience has value. These people, you're excited to hire them because they have the experience and the capacity and all the good stuff you need. And no one leaves a job. The huge majority of people do not leave a job to take less money. So please get away from the trust me negotiation tactic. I've seen it backfire incredibly. Just a quick aside, but a client a long time ago, we brought a person in and they would not give them the salary they wanted. But the word was, trust me, we have a very generous bonus program. Now, this is open to interpretation. It's all relative. What was generous to the business owner was actually about 25% of the bonus they had at their other company. And so they ended up being out of pocket a lot of money to take this job. And of course, it didn't last because at that point, they felt kind of taken advantage of. The other thing I really want small business owners to kind of get away from is we want people that want to work for our company. We only want people that want to work for us. And why is that dangerous? Because you're a small business. And the truth is, until I come along or anyone else comes along often, these people have never heard of your company. And they're discovering who you are as we go through. So it's not, I would ask you to rephrase it. Instead of we only want people who want to work for us, say, I'm going to give you a reason why you're going to want to work for me. And that's our job as small business owners. We're not Google. We're not Apple. We don't have clout like that. So we have to prove to them that we're a professional organization to get them to kind of come across and get excited about the opportunity. So when we get into the offer negotiation, it's important to understand, oftentimes in the Keyhire world, we're bringing people from larger companies to smaller companies. So cash is king, cash is a great neutralizer, but oftentimes our benefit package might not be as robust as the one they're coming from. Our bonus program might not be as robust as the one they're coming from. Sometimes they might have long-term incentives, RSUs, restricted stock units, something, those golden handcuffs that keep them around, right? And so we need to understand what they're walking away from. And it has to be a win-win. It can't be a win-lose. And I'll share some examples of what that looks like. This year, working with a fantastic client, and we were hiring a VP level person. And that person came in, and due to the economy, on the day of the interview, day before the interview, they were actually laid off from their job. Now that trust me, or you want to work for us, show me you want to work for us mindset might have had an owner say, now we can go in and offer them less and take advantage of them. My amazing client, who I love working with, when I brought it up and said, hey, I just want to kind of check in and see where we are here. His exact comment was, this is the person we want. We would never do that. He has value. His experience has value, and we want his experience. So we will not even consider that. And I said, thank you. That's fantastic. That's the business owner mindset that helps you get great people and they become loyal. Some other companies will guarantee incentives just to make sure people stay whole, right? It's going to take me 6 months to find where the bathroom is. So if I can guarantee an incentive for the first 2 quarters, just to make sure you're not out of pocket and it's not costing you money to come and work with us. I have amazing clients that will do that. Just recently, we brought on with one of our clients an amazing director level role, and we thought we had all our information, and we went back to them, and they looked at the offer and very respectfully came back and said, hey, there are a few things on here that I would like to see if we can move. And they gave it to me. One of them was they were at, I think, 5 weeks vacation, and in the letter it said 3. And I said, well, what if we could get you 4? Would you be happy with 4? And they were like, yeah, I think that would be fair. They were hardballing anything here. And then the base, they just wanted it to move a little bit. And we knew they had an incentive program at their other program. So I went back to my client, this amazing business owner, and said, look, I think if we move the vacation time to 4 weeks, we move $5,000 on the base salary. And this was a conversation we had. This wasn't me just spitting this out, but we sat around at the table and talked about it. Then we guaranteed some incentive for her through the first 2 quarters of employment. That was perfect, right? And what did it cost the employer to get this person who they were really, really excited to have on their bus? It cost them $5,000 in a week's vacation.